Okay, apologies kiddies, running really short on time this week because I only just got back from my usual traumatizing field trip to the US Embassy to renew my American visa. And I mean, the outside of the embassy is relatively intimidating, although they did kind of half-arse it. They really should have just made it look like Castle Grayskull to really scare the living shit out of hapless visa seekers. That would have set me up very nicely indeed for the hour of dread spent lingering in multiple soul-sucking queues, followed by a frantic hand-flapping interview with a stony-faced official who just point-blank refused to accept this ridiculous charade that I call a career. So you sit in a tiny room in your house and you take stuff out of a box, and occasionally you talk about your and you also have a token puppet called Mr. Wanksock. And you actually want us to let you into our country. Will you be bringing the puppet? Anyway, eventually the silly buggers approved it, so watch out America, I'll be spurting transatlantically for the next 5 years. And Christ, anyway, shut up me, let's jingle. Techspert Weekly! So last week we snuggled up together and had a cozy wee look at Google's upcoming Pixel 7a, but that's not the only new tech that we can expect from the big G in the next couple of months. No, we've already had official confirmation that Google is busy beavering away on its first new tablet since the Nexus 9, which launched almost a decade ago. I still actually remember that launch as well, mostly because I could handle my alcohol an awful lot better back then. And the glory days where I could smash 5 pints at the free press bar and still coherently present on camera, rather than immediately face planting a display case and being dragged out back for a proper good kicking. Anyway, Google said it would reveal more on the new Pixel tablet sometime in 2023, which I'm hoping means around or shortly after the big nerdy I/O event, which kicks off on May the 10th. So far, a few key specs have trickled online with few real surprises. The brains of the operation will likely be that Tensor G2, which powers the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro smartphones. So you can expect the Pixel tablet to pack good enough performance to run any Android app or game out there. Here's hoping the Pixel tablet doesn't heat up under a bit of pressure like those Pixel phones, however. You'll apparently have a near 11-inch screen to poke and prod with a crisp 2560 by 1600 pixel resolution, although chances are it will be IPS tech rather than OLED. And chances are also good there'll be some sort of Pixel stylus as well. These tablet guys bloody love a stylus, and a keyboard case of course, naturally. The Pixel tablet will feature an aluminium frame with a nano-ceramic coating, giving it a matte finish that can hopefully repel greasy prints after you've been fingering a box of fried chicken wings, with a choice of greeny and pinky colours. However, the real standout feature of the Pixel tablet is that speaker dock, which apparently comes bundled. This'll do much more than keep the tab charged, it'll basically transform the thing into a Nest-style smart display, with extra beefy speakers packed inside of the fabric frame. And that should help the Pixel tablet to stand out a wee bit against rivals from the likes of Samsung, and here's hoping that Google has also packed in plenty of Pixel exclusive features, similar to what it does with the Pixel phones. After all, it's usually the software and also the camera tech that really helps these Pixel devices to stand out from the crowd, and with a tablet the cameras don't matter so much, all you really need is a semi-decent front facer for your zooming shenanigans. Anyone who actually uses a rear camera on a tablet is worse than herpes and deserves to be thrown into a pit of fire. Or actually make that a pit of fire and snakes, although actually the snakes would just burn, wouldn't they, so that's stupid. Fire and spikes? That would work. Fire, spikes, and acid as well. It. Anyway, the big launch of this week was this lovely wee bugger right here, the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, an upgraded version of the Xiaomi 13 Pro, which only itself launched about a month ago. And while many bits of the Ultra have been lifted wholesale from the Pro, this expensive new blower does boast upgraded camera tech, including a variable aperture primary shooter, very fancy, and a dual telephoto setup to rival Samsung's Galaxy S23 Ultra. And it's all wrapped up in a seriously gorgeous fake leather jacket, which makes me feel all tingly in the trouserial department. And if that's making you feel all tingly too, so we're tingly twins, well definitely come back tomorrow for my full in-depth unboxing and 5-day review of the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. I mean seriously, what could be more worth doing on a Saturday afternoon? Spending time with family? Taking a hike through a scenic slice of British countryside to appreciate the beauty of nature while exercising your tired limbs? F that noise, it's all a lot of bollocks anyway, mate. Just stick a Ginsters in the oven and then come watch your Uncle Spurt banging on about this massive bugger instead. Anyway, that's so much hot news that the entire left side of my body has gone completely numb. Or maybe I just shouldn't have had that bacon and lard smoothie for lunch. One way or another, in approximately 5 seconds, I'll either be blissfully deceased or we'll be cracking on with this week's viewer comments. Viewer comments. So let's start this week with Info Orange, who says, happy 150th, that celebration was real. Roll on the 200th, as we might get a party streamer as well. Only thing missing was Mr. Wanksock. Party streamers, Christ, you think I'm absolutely made of money, mate? Maybe I'll do you a happy gif or something instead. As for Mr. Wanksock, well, he's on a bit of a timeout, kiddies. He knows what he did. Next up, Lee Moore says, I only realised that Techspurt is a pun on expert recently. Yeah, with the added bonus that it has the word spurt in it, which is never not hilarious. And Lee also says, are we Spartans? Aye, indeed. And the Spartan army is growing steadily stronger as well. We are testicle tremblingly close to 1 million now. Eep. Next up, Coyce Jr., sorry if I completely mauled the pronunciation there, says, I've never been let down by Techspurt's taste in wallpaper. And on that subject, Ilios the Gamer says, where do I get the papers? Well, as well you know, I do have a little jingle set aside just for this very occasion. But this week we've actually got a dance remix of said jingle, courtesy of Twitter user Mystic Suns. Ball.alphacoders.com, ball.alphacoders.com, that's where my wallpapers come from. Loads of great papers on there, enough to give your inner weeb a nosebleed so violent it'll measure on the Richter scale. Absolute stone cold banger. Frankly, if it's not number one by next weekend, then the entire world can go f*** itself. Next, Dennis says, I'm curious about the Pixel 7a. Also, I read that the Pixel 8 would probably be smaller with a 6.1 inch screen. For me personally, that's really great news. I mean, God, I really hope that's true because compact flagships are just so rare right now. And yeah, like I'm using this absolute beast right now, the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. And I mean, seriously, if I'm using this thing for more than about 10 minutes, it feels like I've been milking a Minotaur. Dean F says, always too small for my taste, alas. Is that referring to the Pixel phones or me? Jonathan Hamill says, nothing will ever beat the weekly hype that was the Pixel 4a update. I mean, perhaps we should resurrect it for the Pixel 7a. It's the Pixel 7a update. This week's update, I haven't bothered looking at any more Pixel 7a news, so yeah, that's it. It's the Pixel 7a update. Timolay says, you say about the Pixel 7a not being in ceramic, but OnePlus had the OnePlus X available in ceramic at 269 quid, although it was only limited to 10,000 units. You know what, you're absolutely bloody right. I completely forgot that OnePlus did a ceramic smartphone for under 300 quid. I really hope that Google doesn't do something similar, because honestly, a week of drinking nothing but tap water might kill me. And also on the subject of Pixel 7a leaks, ABC says, just wait, it's 1 month away. Jeez. I mean, fair play. I mean, all these leaks and everything, it's kind of like reading a whole bunch of spoilers about a TV show before you actually sit down and watch any of it. And then you get to the phone launch and you just sat there saying, yeah, knew that, yeah, knew that. Which possibly kills the joy somewhat, you know, bloody internet. If it wasn't for the fact that I make my entire living off it and, you know, good old-fashioned porn, I'd rip the whole bloody lot of it up. Nathan Davis says, doesn't wireless charging only work with a glass back? No, it does work with plastic as well, as long as it's not too thick or anything. I think the only thing that really stops it in its tracks is metal. And sadly, it'll probably be a long bloody time before we get another HTC One M8. Riz says, do you have any news on the Google Pixel tablets? I can't find very much on Google's tablet offering. I'm not sure if I should go for the OnePlus Pad or wait for the Pixel. Well, thankfully, already covered the old Pixel tab at the start of this show. OnePlus Pad I will be covering in the next sort of week or so when the full review embargo lifts, so stay tuned for more on that. Matt Wickham says, your reviews are mildly amusing. Yeah, I'll take that. Cheers, Matt. One of Zero says, your videos are so dark compared to others that you still film me about having studio lights and you're not just filming in the day with cloudy weather. Hey, give me a break, alright? I'm quite a bit older than the rest of these fresh-faced YouTube pricks. I need a bit more ambient lighting to hide all the creases and bags and frown marks. Not to mention the inevitable stains. I know I get this question usually every few weeks or so. KR says, Chris, what is your daily driver phone when you're not testing other phones? And the answer is, I'm never not testing other phones these days, sadly. There's usually dozens and dozens of new smartphone launches, only one Uncle Spurt. So even swapping between phones once a week, I still barely manage to cover them all. But I do like to return to older smartphones when they are upgraded to a new version of Android, or there's some other big updates chucked in there as well, so the likes of the Pixel phones, for instance. Rob Page says, crikey, boozing at the Greyhound in Letcombe and a wedding bash at Len's Barn. If I'd known you were in my neck of the woods, I'd have tracked you down and bought you a pint, or thrown stones depending on my mood. Yeah, if you live around there, then you're pretty lucky, mate, because that's a lovely wee part of the world, although my opinion may have been seriously influenced by the fact that pubs charge under £5 a pint. A phenomenon I have not experienced in many moons around sort of London area. Now, the other day I went to a pub near Bermondsey, which didn't even sell beer in pints, it sold them in 2/3. What do I look like? Someone who likes to sip beer? What, am I supposed to swill it around my mouth, taking all that hoppy, malty goodness? No, bloody not. And it was still over £5 for a weenie glass, of course. I just stay home and drink special brew. Okay, Memphis says, love that you don't start new product reviews comparing to the bloody iPhone. I drink to that. No, there's absolutely no point in that. The rest of the tech YouTube crowd has that side of things well and truly covered. I mean, them lot probably compare their f***ing breakfast to an iPhone. Hello, darling, how was your day? My day? Well, let's see. My day versus an iPhone. Kevin C says, you need to wring out your liver. If only it were that easy, Kevin. If only it were that easy, mate. And then next up, Etienne says, I suppose... Oh no, wait, hang on. This is the return of the Which Crap Celebrity Do I Look Like segment, so roll that jingle. Which crap celebrity do I look like this week? Etienne says, I suppose the return of Which Crap Celebrity Do I Look Like will show who the newer viewers are, as they all go accurately for Louis Spence, despite it being a shoe-in week after week. Good old Louis. Is he even still alive? Who knows? Let's see what the lad's up to. I love how the first hit on Google is, what happened to Louis Spence? Perhaps that'll be me one day. What happened to that bald, foul-mouthed YouTube twat who used to bang on about phones? And I assume the answer will involve me being found in a puddle, most likely my own bodily fluids, possibly a few others mixed in there. I was about to say, apparently he was in Sharknado 5, which scans, to be fair, but it's a completely different Louis Spence, one with actual hair. And another celebrity suggestion here as well from John Paul G, who says, celebrity lookalike Mitch Pileggi. Mr. Mitch, Skinner from the X-Files, of course, for any of our younger viewers who have no idea who he is. You probably haven't even heard of the X-Files, have you? I was going to say it's like Buffy, but with aliens instead of vampires, except you probably don't even know what Buffy is. It's like TikTok, but with 2 FBI agents and a guy who smokes a lot of fags and not as much dancing. But yeah, I'd certainly take good old Mitch. I always wanted to be a shady government official battling invading aliens with Gillian Anderson. They'd kidnap us, right, and take us on their alien flying spacecraft, and then they'd immediately execute Fox for blubbing loads and generally being a bit of a drip. And then me and Gillian would fight back doing lots of karate kung fu shenanigans, and we'd overpower them and take over the ship. And then to celebrate, we'd take off all of our clothes and get really nasty with all of their probing equipment. Not that I've really thought about it or anything. Oh, and John Paul G also says, any chance for a Pixel 7 versus Pixel 7a comparison video in the future? Magic 8-Ball very much says that the chances of that one are good. I love me a bit of a Pixel comparison. I might even get the Pro involved for a bit of 3-way action. Hot content. Anyway, better make this the last one so I've got time to actually run off and edit this shower of shit before it needs to go live. Eve Coleman says, many bald celebrities have spontaneously started growing hair again to avoid being listed in the Which Bald Celebrity Looks Like Uncle Spurt segment. I don't think I have any more to add to that, to be honest. So a huge thank you to everyone who commented last week. Please do smash your comments down below and we'll try and get through as many of those as possible next week. And speaking of next week,
this is about next week.
So we have the Asus ROG Ally launch on Tuesday. That's Asus's handheld gaming console to take on the likes of the Steam Deck, the Ayaneo 2, the One X Player 2. So stay tuned for some chatty stuff on that. Got a few other bits coming your way as well. And of course, this time next week, a good bit of TechSpurt weeklies. So that's it From me, I'm off to face plant an entire jug of some form of alcohol. Have yourselves a bloody wonderful weekend, everyone. Oh, poke subscribe, ding that notifications bell, tell a friend, and I'll see you on the flip side. Love you!